I don't make love. I fuck.
I missed the part where that's my problem.
I watched every anime from fall 2025, or close enough, and now you're gonna see a meme summary of the season to brighten your day. So keep an eye on this corner of the screen, where I'll show you what you should watch, what might be worth checking out, and what you're better off avoiding, in my opinion. And without further ado, let's get started. Gachiakuta decided to bring the daycare to join the well-animated beatdown of its second cur, unlike certain shows out there, while Tougen Anki tries to prove it's not just a pair of boobs. It doesn't look like it's working. And My Hero Academia's final season is impressive for doing what seemed impossible, from actually showing a girl who's supposed to be invisible to delivering an epic conclusion, worthy of an employee of the month at McDonald's. Have a plus ultra day! But among the shonen titles, the Chainsaw Man movie is the highlight, since it proves Denji's biggest simp is always the next, in a romance story that might make you cry. Good thing romance isn't in short supply this season, because the Crazy Blondes anime keeps going, and we've also got the story of a woman just a little on the heavier side who, after suffering an accident, has to deal with her crush on an Ike man, a case of amnesia, and the possibility that someone wants her dead. Something far from a star brighter than the sun. A simple romance, tall girl and childhood friend. It might look like it's missing some fun, but it's lovely watching that gap end. In one episode, the slick rap out of the blue catches off guard like a step right through. Certainly the best is Kaguya-sama. Yikes! Mess with this goat, you cry to mama. Meanwhile, My Awkward Senpai shows a senior who teaches all kinds of things to her junior, just not efficient communication or how to be good at video games. That sounds like a job for the protagonist of My Friend's Little Sister Has It In For Me, where a boy is part of a dev group that includes a teacher with questionable tastes and his best friend, a bro so loyal he literally offers up his own sister to the protagonist. The problem is, she's a demon on earth, always turning our hero into her little puppy, so much so she could be called Nagatoro-chu, if not for two big reasons. The red hair and the lack of a tan. What were you thinking? To make matters better, the kid's career is jammed thanks to his lazy uncle, and the only way to move forward is by pretending to date his daughter. Some folks might see an upside to that deal, but the guy already looks exhausted from having to choose between these two pasts. On the other hand, Let's Play follows a grown-up game developer who's completely out of her mind, because who in their right mind would name such an adorable dog Bowser? But her biggest headaches are elsewhere. She's got some tempting romantic interests to choose from, and the reviews for her latest game start imploding thanks to a streamer who says,
"This some hot garbage."
Curiously, the guy turns out to be her new neighbor, so she gets the chance to beat his ass in style. Just kidding. Confronting the dude is hard when you're up against your own shyness and a ridiculously shredded chest that gets along well with puppies. Same goes for the heroine of With You or Love Will Make It Through, a sweet romance where the... What's that? Well, I've been informed you should get your pets out of the room, because besides cute animals, this anime features beastmen who are frighteningly well defined, and allegedly eager to eat humans, in more than one sense. That said, remember Ariel from The Little Mermaid? Screw her. That's what this monster wants to eat me says, because the mermaid here wants nothing to do with singing and sunshine. She wants to devour the protagonist. Super romantic, right? Kinda like the characters from Blue Lock. The problem is, the main girl is a depressed orphan who talks like, "The wind blows through the flowers. The seawater is still wet. And I'm a sad character, in case you didn't notice." That's why the mermaid has to cure her, protect her, and make her happy, because anything goes if it makes the meat tastier. And since we're talking tasty meat, it's the monster who becomes food in Pass the Monster Meat, my lady. Here, a redhead gets mistreated by society just for being a huge Dungeon Meshi fan, but that changes when she meets a count who calls monsters Ned Stark, so you can already imagine what happens to their heads. The guy proposes to her, and they're on track to become the world's most gluttonous couple. But first, they've got a few issues to sort out. The case of a nosy butler named Chaos, and the fact that the Count keeps a pet dragon that looks very mouth-watering. As for Mechanical Mary, it introduces us to the most realistic robot since Sophia, and just maybe that's because she's actually a real girl. She uses her gorgeous smile to charm everyone, but as a martial arts prodigy, her mission is to protect a millionaire heir from any danger, be it one assassin dumber than the last, a jealous brother, or a truly robotic copy of herself. But in the meantime, who's gonna save her from the young boss's advances? And more importantly, does she even want to be saved? Either Either way, in Chitose is in the Ramune bottle, the protagonist is the type who wants to save people. This popular guy might be known as the King of Gauss for juggling multiple romantic interests, but at first his goal is to help a chubby kid who decided to isolate himself, and of course he's an Isekai fan. Their first meeting doesn't go well, neither does the second, to be honest, but nothing a good swing at the window and a face-to-face talk can't fix. From there, there's only one way to rehabilitate the boy. That's right, we're gonna need a montage! Sports training montage! Or that's what I'd like to say. But the protagonist just turns into the kid's social coach, and he magically gets thin without a training montage. From then on, our hero keeps helping him and others, dealing with a bunch of princesses and, every now and then, playing football with graphics better than Blue Lock 2. With the real highlight being this primate dance losers have to do, and I won't even tell you how its second part goes. Meet the anime of a stutterer who falls in love with dance. Based on a manga that really captures the fluidity and freedom of the sport, we follow a boy captivated by his classmates' beautiful moves. And because of that, decides to join the Fearsome Dance Club, a place that terrifies him because it's completely run by girls, while I would make that deal. And so, he takes the first step toward dropping the stutter and starting a new life where he can express himself with pure movement, or become an eternal meme. And we're still gonna cover plenty of memes and popular anime around here. But speaking of sports, the Horse Girl anime is back with all its charm and sleek animation, perfect to bring this fantastical sport to life. Just not as fantastical as fantasy shows like one, where the protagonist copies other people's techniques after a single glance, basically a budget Sharingan. Another, where a kid named Light has an OP power and a crazy girl with special eyes to help him, but instead of justice, he's just out to seek revenge, which could have applied to the mage from the Banished Court Magician. But instead of cursing the shitty prince who banned him from his party, the young man teams up with his old friend Yorha to clear some dungeons together.
Glory to
Seibaa! We've also got the return of the Eminence in Shadow at Home in Let This Grieving Soul Retire, but it's more important to highlight that Spy Family Season 3 is here, bringing us Agent Twilight's complicated past. Good thing that in the present, he's living a peaceful life with his lovely family. Speaking of which, I'm sure this is the season we finally get a romantic step forward between him and Yor, right? Right? It will be a bummer if it doesn't happen, but it would be even more tragic if you watched this video that took a ton of work and didn't drop a like. So help me out, come on, comment your favorite anime of this season, hype the content, and subscribe to help the channel hit 100 subscribers. Anyway, Spy Family isn't the only show this season with a beautiful family. Two others deserve a shout out for that too. Scientist Family follows two scientists raising an unbeatable little robot girl, unless she's up against a vacuum cleaner. What matters is, she goes around spreading kindness, bringing her parents genuinely closer and helping her mom outshine Yor, cause she can actually cook something decent. Meanwhile, Hero Family gives us a hero who goes beyond Agent Twilight. Yes, he made love to his own wife.
I don't make love. I fuck.
Just don't ask who fell in love first and how old they were at the time. But now, the hero returns to his homeland and has to save his brother from an evil soul, besides bragging about his new family. The missus is the all-powerful Queen of Spirits, and the daughter, besides secretly being a reincarnated person, can manipulate chemical elements, making her a real-life Heisenberg, or a
Full Metal Alchemist.
So that last one is technically an Isekai, and for better or worse, it's not the only one. In a while the last boss appeared, we follow a villainess with tons of social awareness and zero patience with nature. She was defeated by the heroes of this world in an absolutely legendary war that was basically just a modernized wall PvP. Many years later, a gamer reincarnates as the badass and gets sovereign level powers, like the ability to summon Ben 10's RV. But now, her goal is to figure out why she's there and reunite her loyal vassals from the past, starting with a mischievous little ship a la Shaun the Sheep. The difference is that instead of wrecking a farm, he can destroy the world. Just like the world might end for the heroine of the dark history of the reincarnated Villainess, where a woman falls into her own story and is forced to face things she wrote as a teen, from pushy pretty boys to some very weird fetishes. Something far from a gatherer's adventure in Isekai, where our hero's biggest concerns are collecting resources, admiring the place's gorgeous geometry, and pondering about how to train his dragon. As for my status as an assassin, it introduces you to the legendary assassin who rarely kills anyone. He was summoned to another world with his classmates and gets skills place worthy of a Shadow Hokage, the perfect chance to investigate the shady king who brought them there. But things aren't that simple. To take on the crown, he first has to train with a very special knight. So special, he could be a knight of the zodiac, but only if he's one of those wings who dies in a minute. So amid this world's chaos, he teams up with a powerful elf and a cute kitten to take down evil schemes and put everything he learned from his mentor into practice, which, with luck, includes the ability to sing this banger. A banger also seems to be the manhwa of Who Made Me a Princess, which got a cutesy adaptation. The story starts with a woman going to check if there are croissants and then she died. After that, we follow her daughter, a princess looked down on for lacking magic. At least, she pays tribute to that so Raven, peeking into the future to protect her loved ones, and snag a few shiny things while she's at it. The problem is that her own fate looks grim. A cruel future where she's banished by her father, the ice-cold emperor known for his lack of tact, and the naughty little games he plays with his wife's ghost. So now, the princess will do anything to escape this mess that, in the end, could be summarized as having lots of daddy issues. With luck, the princess will have a peaceful future with their dad, just like the peace we see in Yano-kun's Ordinary Days, where the only ones suffering are the unluckiest guy alive and the girl he leaves in the friend zone. But these days are coming to an end. After noticing he's got Chunibyo vibes and nearly became a victim of Truck-kun, the girl decides to be his personal first responder, promising to help him get the ordinary life he wants, though it's far more likely he'll star in the next funniest home videos montage. You're gonna die. But not every wholesome anime needs that. So we've got the anime where a boy fails miserably at teasing an expressionless girl, all because she already woke up from the Matrix. The Bakuman for girls, showcasing the wonderful life of Mangaka. She hasn't slept in 7 days, by the way. More camping with some romantic tension. Season 2 of MasterChef for Spirits, plus a new anime where beings from beyond serve as guardians to an important boy, Unheralds of your nap time. My god, what a boring anime. Vampire, a creature with countless versions over the years, each is scarier and stronger than the last, but nothing can prepare you for this one. An anime about a girl with a cool, mysterious attitude who can drink your blood in a very unexpected way. Well, it's not as shocking as the blood-sucking in Fate, but it still counts. Just like the fate of humanity is on the line in another season of Record of Ragnarok, where humans and gods throw down to decide what becomes of mortals. Unfortunately, or fortunately, not every anime lets you defend humanity, so the apocalypse still shows up for some. Meet the anime about a guy who copies Barry Allen, not to become the fastest man alive, but to hook up with his stepsister. Things were going great between them, wedding plans and all, until the day an attack happens and wrecks their lives. Years later, the guy wakes up butt naked in a ruined world and runs into an android identical to his fiancée. So there's only one thing to do.
Come with me if you want to back.
Team up with the android to save his beloved, because he's scared she might be stuck somewhere. The problem is, before he can do that, he still has to figure out this new world and resist the temptations of polygamy. In another apocalypse with a built-in android, two girls ride a bike while hunting for tourist spots, a world where one sleep could cost them their lives, and every location hides a potential tragedy. This is a world where little survives, and only true culture was preserved. Tales of Wedding Rings 2 is an isekai that promises to be as demonetizing as its first season, but it's not the only sequel in another world, since campfire cooking in another world brings its delicious dishes back too. But here's the real point, you don't need to reincarnate or get teleported to another world to live extraordinary stories. A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away... Weebs still don't know why they should skip from the first to the third season, but Star Wars Visions strikes again. This time, different animation masters echo legends from Volume 1, still trapped on the Big Red streaming. Rebel methods may be necessary to watch these chapters, just as they are to see the next anime. Since Twisted Wonderland brings the craziest Disney Japan crossover since Kingdom Hearts. Here, there's no Truck-kun, it's a carriage that sends the protagonist to another world. There, his attempt to get back home is thwarted thanks to to an overpowered cat. It's just a shame he's not as stylish as Persona 5's Mona. Anyway, from there, the guy is forced to attend an academy full of characters inspired by Disney villains, but who look more like members of a boy band. Just like the crew in this other anime, where the action quality is surprisingly good, and seems better than certain others out there. But hold on, we'll get to it. Here, a boy band only doesn't farm because there are some pretty girls in the mix. Good thing that doesn't stop the boys from unleashing their full dancing potential. After this touching song, it's impossible not to remember of Ao no Orchestra Season 2 or To Your Eternity Season 3, stories that can truly connect with you, whether through music or the beautiful drama that comes from the interactions between an immortal being and the human race. Or that's what I could say if I'd actually watched them. Just like I didn't watch the original Cat's Eye, but decided to give its remake a shot. The anime where three totally thieves use the most ridiculous plans in the world to steal works of art. Good thing the detective chasing them is too dumb to notice his own girlfriend is playing him, but that puts his job at risk, so he tells his beloved he's gonna leave the police. Surprised by the boyfriend's decision, the woman has only one thing she can do:
I missed the part where that's my problem.
give him a little help so he doesn't end up unemployed, and throw in some foreplay while she's at it. All because she and her sisters have a noble goal behind their thievery, and a little naughty play doesn't hurt anyone. And speaking of remakes with cats, I came back to watch Hama 1/2 second season. This time we get major revelations about the protagonist, because if he's already afraid of cute cats, imagine how he'd feel after this horror movie. Just not as scary as the monster Tatsuki Fujimoto, the mangaka who, besides Chainsaw Man, is getting a special adaptation of his works in the Tatsuki Fujimoto 1726 anthology. Special like Gintama fans, since I've never met one in real life, even with the launch of this new and crazy spin-off. But if we're talking about crazy things, we have to mention how Kingdom has 6 seasons, Digimon keeps getting new anime, and we've even got an anime featuring the epic battle between a ninja and a yakuza from the Weeb world, along with other wild stories. Meet the anime where the protagonist has already been confessed to, but his true love is tokusatsu. After years of training to be a Kamen Rider, he's about to give up on his dream, until real criminals and villains show up. So he teams up with other diehards of the iconic franchise, and together they can break out of the cage to show their love by throwing punches. This is the story of Kojima Wants to Be a Kamen Rider. I mean, Tojima Wants to Be a Kamen Rider. Although... Oh, oh, oh. In a dystopian world where this laugh is no longer heard, a boy feels the chilly touch of a lady's backside for the first time and tries to understand why the girl wants him in pieces. The truth is, that's an act of love, not the yandere kind, but because she needs help finding her friend. To do that, she has to unleash the hidden power inside the protagonist, his ability to turn into Santa Claus whenever he touches something red. So now the boy goes into Christmas mode, coming in hot to help his classmate and protect the kids from bad adults. But first, he has to deal with having a bigger body, which comes with a thick, but one anime that surprised me is Ginosia, which you could call Japanese Among Us, but only if the crewmates looked like this. The show takes place on a spaceship where one crew member is actually a murderous alien. Because of that, our hero is forced to have civil conversation with his peers to find the imposter and escape this deadly situation. But the story surprises the protagonist by ramping up the difficulty each round, and it surprises you too, by being inclusive enough to feature the Varginha alien, and by showing that fiddling with a pen can have more frames than One Punch Man 3. So it's finally time to talk about the anime, where the main character takes everyone out with one punch. Because in May I Ask One Final Thing, the heroine spends years putting up with her fiance's nonsense, until the day her wedding is cancelled, and all her efforts are tossed out. So while some people cry their eyes out after suffering, she prefers to deal with their problems in a different way. Abusive prince? Punch. Bitch, punch. Entitled noble, punch. Slavers, punch. Assassins, affection, but only if they can also turn into cute dogs. This way, the lady solves the kingdom's problems with her fists, and lets the future king indulge himself in the entertainment, while some can only say,
It should have been me, not him!
And now, we need to talk about how the third season of One Frame Man has stirred up controversy thanks to its animation.
Look how they massacred my boy.
a lot of people are trashing the anime. But I've gotta be honest, even though I poke fun at the animation, I like One Punch Man 3. Come on, how could you not? Look at the hottie who showed up this season. That was the meme summary of Fall 2025. Thanks so much for watching, and don't forget to drop a like, okay? That said, I'm Sid from the Seibaa TV channel, and I'll see you in the next video.